So I hope that everything is fine. My name is Regueiro. I'm a PhD student at the University of Ferrara, and today I speak about the Appia Antica 39 project. It's been actually a very good introduction to the project, so I'm really happy that you like it, and I hope that in these 15 minutes we can share a little bit more of the archaeological project, but also about how we do public and community archaeology in Rome. I'm so happy to be the last one. It's always nice to close like these kind of research meetings. So here we go. Thank you for inviting us, and we start. So first of all, we have to talk, of course, about the site that is just outside the Porta San Sebastiano in the Appian Way of Rome. We are literally very near the center, or what is considered the center of Rome. You can see in this video here that if you came from the Colosseum in 20 minutes by bus, you can arrive to our site. So in 2022, the project began. It began because of public and community request, because the citizens of the area were looking to liberate for illegal private owners. They still want to liberate the full first mile of the Appian Way that is still in illegal private property, but this has been the first piece of land of this first mile of Appian Way that has been liberated, and in 2002 we were able to start digging. Why we chose this area is this area, it has not really been studied archaeologically speaking. We are the first stratigraphical excavation of the area, and we are really very near to the ancient temple of Mars Creativus that is just a little bit like this is our excavation. The temple is like over here. So we just wanted to excavate this area and see how the sacred landscape and the funerary landscape came together in this place. We expected a necropolis. We had a necropolis. So it's a funerary excavation, and now we will talk a little bit more about that. So from 2022 until 2025, the excavation has evolved. We started with a little trench, and we got bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is how the excavation was last year. At the right, you can see the Appian Way. We are really near to the Appian Way. We are the first, are like these funerary monuments are the first one coming from Rome at the left. And here we see it a little better. Our necropolis is very similar to what we can find in the Vatican necropolis or in the necropolis of how it was called. I don't remember it. Of that is very near the necropolis. Is a very similar one. Also in Biostiense we find very similar necropolis, but it's the first of this kind of necropolis that is found in the Appian Way. We have 9 funerary monuments, uh, 8, 9, because this funerary monument is just one, but is divided in two. We have also 83 tombs and a minimal number of individuals of 108 individuals. The necropolis, we think it could have begun in the first century AD, but we have evidences from the second century AD, and it probably got abandoned on the 7th century AD, where the whole necropolis was covered because they suffered from water problems, and with water problems you have also malaria and other kinds of health problems, so they probably closed everything with amphoras, materials, and so on. So in red, you can see where most of the earth tombs were located. And here you can see the street that was created after adding all of the funerary monuments from the Appian Way. We don't know how was the shape of the rest of the land, but we can think about perhaps a road that came from the Appian Way and then did this kind of road between funerary monuments. a classical columbarium with cremation mosaic in the floor. And then on the right, we can see a little bit different kind of monument with fake marble frescoes and also an inscription that was found that is dated to the Siberian era, so to the end of the 2nd century AD and to the beginning of the 3rd century AD. Then, during 2024, another two funerary monuments were completed. The one at the right got really famous because it was published by La Repubblica Journal, that is one of the most famous and popular journals in Italy. And it's also a mosaic that it could belong to the Siberian era, so to the 2nd century AD, end of the 2nd century AD, beginning of the 3rd century AD. And on the left, we find a funerary monument that has been reworked all over the centuries, and we find a modern wall just on the mosaic floor. So we don't know how this monument was, but we can find just a little piece of mosaic in it. Until 2024, we excavated with the students because we are the University of Ferrara, so everything was excavated with students. But in 2025, because of the water problems caused by the river that is just on the north of our excavation, we had to do a professional excavation of 2 months. In this excavation, all of the funerary monuments were excavated and almost all of them have mosaics. This monument here is very important because we also have an inscription about the owner of the plot that was called Januarius as one of the inscriptions that were presented here earlier. And the rest of them are also dated to the end of the 2nd century AD, more or less, at least 2nd century AD. And we find funerary monuments or geometrical monuments at the left, but we also find on the right this very typical funerary monument with a wine and the bird that is very typical of the Roman funerary iconography. The material culture is very typical from Roman necropolises. We have mainly pottery, all kinds of pottery, mainly late African pottery, but we also find marble decorations of the monuments, marble decorations of different kind of tombs. We have inscriptions. We have also different kind of burials. We have lamps. We have all you can expect in a Roman cemetery. So after talking a little bit about excavation, I want to talk about the public engagement because this project was born because of a community request that was to liberate this piece of land and give it to the citizens, but not just the citizens, but make archaeology accessible. And since we are speaking about volunteer excavations in this evening, I just want to talk a little bit about what we do in the Appian way and how important it is to do community archaeology, especially in Italy and especially in Rome. So all these years, we have made mainly two different kind of events. The first ones are the open days, that are the classical touristic guided tours in the excavations where from above the public could see us working. So on all Wednesdays during the archaeological campaigns, these open days were held and people could just go there. It was for free, so there was this our colleague that is called Chiara Maria Marchetti that she's very good at telling stories and at doing the guided tour that she did all Wednesdays for our public these kind of events. Then we have also the vivi l'esperienza dell'archeologia that could be translated as lived experience of archaeology, where for 1 hour the public could come to the site, go with us all Saturdays, and excavate for 1 hour. It was not just excavation, because excavation was just one part of the experience. The main part of this kind of event is to talk about how we do archaeology, so how we document things, how to do archaeological documentation, how to excavate human remains, because this is a very important thing with also when we are dealing with Christian and Catholic public. It's not an easy thing to talk about burials and death rumors. So it was also very nice to experience these kind of things about making people excavate human remains. And the whole experience lasted 1 hour, but the excavation was just 15 minutes, more or less. So what they tell us is very interesting to think about how people see archaeology and how they see us as archaeologists. So they said that they felt like the protagonists of the excavation, and that they made them want to do archaeological research, that it was wonderful, that it was a dream come true, it was emotional and unforgettable, and it was a unique and rare opportunity, a privilege. So this is very important to see how people really, the public wants to do archaeology, wants to experience archaeology, wants to see archaeology from another perspective that is not just from far away. So opening the gates and letting people excavate with us was a very important experience, not just for us, but for them, that were really pleased to have this opportunity. They were also things they didn't like. It was mainly the time, because they would have stayed longer in the activity times. It was, as I said, just 1 hour of excavation, but they were just wanting to excavate more. And when I asked them, when we asked them which was their favorite part of the whole experience, they just said excavation. We want to excavate. We want to do the physical thing. So this kind of connection it creates when people just got to excavate ancient things with their own hands is just a very beautiful experience. And we have made this from 2022 until 2024. As I said, this year we've made an professional excavation, but we also made a lot of different kind of events. So this is just some of them. At the left, you can see that we also have tried experimental archaeology, where people could do like reproductions of our lamps found on the excavation. We've also made workshops where the public could go and clean the pottery with us. And we also made a very special event about ancient Roman food, where in a restaurant very near the excavation site, we've made with this restaurant this collaboration in which people could eat ancient Roman dishes, where they could also touch ancient Roman pottery that was related to food, like amphoras, plates, and so on. And you can see here one of the citizens that came to the site events, and she also came to these food events. She was really into our events, so it was so happy to see her there. Then we are also a very online archaeological project. We share everything on Instagram, so you can see all of the latest finds, all the information about the excavation on internet. But we also try to do co-creation of content with the students and also with the public that came to our site. So it was also very amazing to try this kind of community archaeology, but also sharing it online and doing online content with the students' ideas and with the people's ideas that came to the site. So the site actually was closed this Tuesday. It was covered up. It's no longer available. we can't do community archaeology in the site anymore, but we are planning to do future activities such as video games. So we have used the produced photogrammetry for the documentation of the archaeological campaigns to actually do a VR experience where you can excavate to the site in a virtual environment. So since the physical site is no longer available, you can excavate on this video game, and we are trying also to do public archaeology with this kind of approaches, and this is the main topic of my archaeology of my PhD research, that is archaeogaming and archaeological video games. So the last thing I want to do is to follow us. We are everywhere. We are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we are also in LinkedIn. So you can find us all over the internet. And thank you very much for having me.